like this. This was so last minute because Sabine is ill that I'm wearing jeans, which is something I don't like to do to services, so forgive me.
You've got nothing to apologize to me for. Wear what you think is appropriate.
It's not appropriate, but
Okay.
no one's around, so I can get away with it.
There you go. Well, Shabbat Shalom. If anyone's online, I have no idea, but Shabbat Shalom to the online crowd as well. Short service because it's Shabbat across DKC and people have dinner plans. It could be that people are having their Shabbat dinner plans and as a group joining us first. So, hors d'oeuvres, challah, whatever, and Shabbat on the big screen TV if there's one nearby. I don't know. It could be a new thing for us. But so short service, but we'll begin with Hinei Ma Tov, page 10. Hinei Ma Tovu Manayim Shevet Achim Gam Yachad. Hinei Ma Tovu Manayim Shevet Achim Gam Yachad. Hinei Ma Tov Shevet Achim Gam Yachad. Hinei Ma Tov Shevet Achim Gam Yachad. Hinei Ma Tovu Manayim Shevet Achim Gam Yachad. Hinei Ma Tovu Manayim Shevet Achim Gam Yachad. All right, page 2. We'll light our Shabbat candles. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotah v'tzivanu lahadlik ner shel Shabbat. Amen. We're going to go to page 20 now for Lecha Dodi. Lecha Dodi, the first paragraph, not the chorus, but the first paragraph where it says number 1 says Shamor v'zachor, keep and remember. Those are referring to the two sides of keeping Shabbat. We keep Shabbat, we remember Shabbat, meaning these are the things we do and the things we don't do. We spend time with family, that's the thing we do. And we don't work, that's the thing we don't do. It's also the reason why, one of the reasons why we've got 2 Shabbat candles. One to remind us of the positive stuff we do on Shabbat, one to remind us of the things we refrain from doing on Shabbat. So, page 20. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, penei Shabbat nekabela. 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 Shamor v'zachor b'dibor echad, Hishmianu el hamyuchad, Adonai echad u'shemo echad, l'shemo tiferet v'letila. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, penei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, penei Shabbat nekabela. Verse 9. Bo'i v'shalom ateret bala, gam b'simcha uv'tzohala, toch emunei am segula, bo'i chala. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, penei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, penei Shabbat nekabela. We'll continue on page 28 and we rise. Baruch hu et Adonai hamivorach, Baruch Adonai Hamavorach Le'olam Va'ed. Continue on page 30. Baruch Ata Adonai Eloheinu Melech HaOlam Asher Bidvaro Ma'ariv Aravim Bechochma Poteach She'arim Vitvuna Mishenei Itim Umachalif Et Hazmanim Umisader Et HaKochavim B'mishmerotehem Bar Kirtono Borei Yom V'Laila Golel Or Mipnei Choshech V'Choshech Mipnei Or Umavir Yom Umevi Laila Umavdil Ben Yom Uvein Laila Adonai Tzevaot Shemo El Chai V'Kayam Tamidim Lo Chalenu Leolam Va'ed Baruch Ata Adonai Ha'Ma'ariv Aravim. Page 32. Ahavat Olam Beit Yisrael Amcha Avta Torah u'mitzvot Chukim u'mishpatim Otanu limadeta Al ken Adonai Eloheinu b'shochbenu Uvkumenu nasiach bechukecha V'nismach b'divrei Toratecha U'mitzvotecha le'olam va'ed Ki hem chayenu Ve'orech yameinu Uvahem negeyom v'layla Negeyom v'layla Vavtecha al tasir Memenu le'olamim Baruch Ata Adonai Ohev Amo Yisrael Ohev Amo Yisrael Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Le'olam Va'em Ve'ahavta Et Adonai Elohecha Bechol levavcha uvechol nafshecha uvechol meodecha Vehayu hadevarim ha'ele Asher anochi mitzavecha Hayom al levavecha Vishinantam levanecha V'dibarta baham B'shivtecha b'veitecha Uvlechtecha v'derech Uvshochbecha uvekumecha Ukshartam me'ot al yadecha Vehayu letotafot beinenecha Uchtavtam al mezuzot beitecha Uvisharecha Leman tizkeru Va'asitem et kol mitzvotai Vitem kedoshim lelohechem Ani Adonai Elohechem Asher hotzeti etchem me'eretz Mitzrayim Lehiyot lachem Elohim Ani Adonai Elohechem. Page 40. Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi kamocha nehedar ba'kodesh, nora tehilot osefele, nora tehilot osefele. Malchutecha ra'uvanecha, bokeh yam lifnei Moshe u'Miriam, ze eli anu ve'amru, Adonai yimloch le'olam va'ed. V'ne'emar kif Adonai et Yaakov, k'lo miyad chazak memenu. Baruch ata Adonai, ga'al Yisrael. Baruch ata Adonai, haporei sukat shalom aleinu ve'al kol amo Yisrael, Va'al Yerushalayim. Blessed are you, Adonai, who spreads the shelter of peace over us, over all your people Israel, over Jerusalem and the whole world. Amen.
Amen.
Page 46 for the Amidah. Adonai sifatai tiftach ufi yagi tehilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips, that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu, Elohei avotenu v'imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor v'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, V'konei Hakol, V'zocher Chastei Avot v'Imahot, Umevi Geula Livnei V'nehem, L'ma'an Shemo Be'ahava, Melech Ozer Umoshia Umagen, Baruch Atah Adonai, Magen Avraham Ve'ezrat Sarah, Atah Gibor Le'olam Adonai, Mechaye HaKol Atah Rav Le'hoshia, Mashif HaRuach U'moriv HaGashem, Mechalkel Chaim Bechesed, Mechaye HaKol Berachamim Rabim, Somech Noflim Verofech Cholim, Umatir Asurim, Umekayem Emunato, Lishenei Afar, Michamocha Baal Gevurot, Umido Melach, Melech Memitu Mechaye, Umatzmiach Yeshua, V'ne'eman atal chayot hakol, Baruch atah Adonai, Mechaye hakol. Atah kadosh v'shimcha kadosh, U'kdoshim b'chol yom yahalu chasela, Baruch atah Adonai, Ha'el HaKadosh. Continue with silent prayer. Please be seated. Yehiyu liratzon, imrefi, vehegyon libi, lefanecha, Adonai tzuri, Adonai tzuri, vegoali, vegoali. May the words of my mouth and the meditations of my heart be acceptable to you, Adonai, my rock and my redeemer. Amen. Page 253 is our prayer for healing. Would any names for healing?
No, thank God. Not today.
Good. No names from here. Anyone is thinking of someone now? You can hold them in your hearts. And 253 is our prayer for healing. Meshaberach avotenu v'imotenu, may the one who blessed our ancestors bless and heal those who are ill. May the Blessed Holy One be filled with compassion for their health to be restored and their strength to be revived. May God swiftly send them a complete renewal of body and spirit, and let us say, Amen. Misheberach avotenu mekor habracha limotenu. May the source of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Amen. I should say a word of Torah, a Devar Torah. So the Torah portion is called Vayera, which means and he saw. And it begins with Abraham recovering from circumcision of all things. He was not 8 days old, he was much, much older. And it says that he was sitting at the entrance to his tent and recovering, presumably, and God appeared to him. And that in itself is pretty remarkable. Like, God pays like a hospital visit to Abraham. He's like, okay, I hear you're not feeling too well. You just had a bit of an operation. So God comes to visit. It says, actually, rabbinic tradition says, God is demonstrating for all of us to learn the mitzvah of Bikor Cholim, visiting the sick. But it says God's visiting Abraham, and then Abraham looks up and sees in the distance 3 people. This is that he saw 3 people in the distance, and he gets up and he runs out to greet them. That's remarkable on 2 counts. 1, recovering from circumcision, he gets up and runs to meet these people. And 2, he interrupted a divine visit to do so. Like, if God ever appears to me, God appeared to Abraham, Vayera, God ever appears to me, I'm probably going to be tied up for a little while. It'll be marked busy on my calendar. But Abraham is willing to put God aside to go greet visitors. And from that, if God demonstrates the mitzvah of Bikor Cholim, visiting the sick, then Abraham demonstrates the mitzvah of Hachnasat Orchim, welcoming in guests. And that is what Abraham and Sarah are perhaps most well known for, amongst many other things, is their hospitality and welcoming people into their tent. When I officiate at weddings, couples stand under a chuppah, marriage canopy. And I always use that image of Abraham and Sarah. I say, like, this is their tent that they're standing under. And but the marriage chuppah has no sides. It's just a ceiling and 4 poles. So roof, 4 poles, no walls. And in some ways that's comparable to Abraham and Sarah's tents, that they were so eager to welcome people in. They always had the sides of their tent rolled up to show an open door, the ancient equivalent of an open door policy, that people could come on in and make themselves at home. But Abraham noticed them, and it turned out that they were angels. He would not have known that right away. They just appeared to be people. But eventually these 3 angels, each one was given a task. One of them announced that Sarah was going to become pregnant. Another one went to Sodom and Gomorrah to rescue Lot. And the other one wiped out Sodom and Gomorrah. So they each had something to do. But like I said, Abraham would not have known that they were angels. It was something miraculous. But it also demonstrates you don't do something nice for somebody because you think that somebody is important or because you think that they're like angels or whatever. You do it just because that's the nice, right thing to do. Not to kind of suck up to the powers that be, but because it's a mitzvah. So that is this week's Torah portion.
May I ask you a quick question? Was God offended?
No.
He's like, I get it. You did the right thing.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. Rabbi Daniel Hartman, one of my teachers, Orthodox rabbi, wrote a book called Putting God Second. And that's one of the stories that's cited in there, is that to be a good person, sometimes you have to put God second. You can't put God first. If you put God first, sometimes that means you ignore other people or treat them pretty badly. There's plenty of self-righteous people out there that put God first. And, well, we'll leave it at that.
I'd like to read that book.
So I imagine God was happy. It's like, you're a dad, I'm a dad. We have 2 kids, and if the kids want to spend time with each other rather than me, like on the one hand, it's like, okay, fine, but hey, that's great. They want to spend time with each other. I think God's happy when people care about one another, want to spend time with each other. There's a story about Martin Buber, who was one of the great 20th century Jewish thinkers. yeah, the PhD and college professor and that whole thing, and his specialty, academic specialty, was Jewish mysticism and Hasidism. But anyways, one day a student came, I guess, to his house or maybe his office and really wanted to speak with him. And at the time, he was very busy and deep into his studies or meditation or prayer or who knows what, and he kind of did the minimum. He welcomed the student in, briefly answered whatever questions the student might have had, and then showed the student the door. Sometime later, the story goes, the student committed suicide, which is horrible and not his fault, but he took it very personally and said, if only I had spent a little bit more time with this student, maybe I would have noticed something, whatever. Completely changed his outlook on the world. And he then wrote a book called I and Thou, which is all about the relationships that people have with one another, and saying that that's the most important thing in the world, and that we can only really glimpse the divine through our relationships with other people. Yeah. Announcements. Speak to the camera.
Yes.
Hold the microphone.
Thank you, sir. Hello, I'm Mark Kunzman. I represent the board this evening. Shabbat Shalom. The Reform Movement is releasing its first Torah commentary in almost 50 years. We are piloting it in our Torah study class tomorrow. Services are at 9:45, and Torah study is at 10:45 a.m. We are participating in a community food drive. Please bring your donations to the TKC lobby throughout the month of November. On November 14th, we'll have a congregational dinner catered by La Madeleine. If you plan to attend the dinner, you must register at the link in the weekly email. We will be honoring the veterans and their families as well. Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom.
All right, page 282 for Elena. Aleinu l'shabeach la'adon ha'kol, v'atet gdula liotzer b'reishit, shelo asanu k'goyei haratzot, v'lo samanu k'mishpachot ha'adama, shelo sam chelkeinu kahem, v'gor aleinu kechol hamonam, va'anachnu korim, u'mishtachavim u'modim, Lifnei melech malchei hamlachim hakadosh baruch hu shehu noteh shamayim v'yosed haaretz u'moshav yikaro b'shamayim imal u'shchinatu zo begofeg meromim hu Eloheinu einot Emet malkeinu efezulato, kakatuv betorato, v'yadat hayom, ve'ashevota el levavecha, ki Adonai hu Elohim, b'shamayim mimal,